Now, one of the most exciting things taking place right now in the Mother City is the 19th edition of the Encounters Film Festival, the documentary festival, of course, that tells stories and encourages us to tell stories from our own continent. Now, the African Union under the UN has been involved in peacekeeping missions in the Somalian capital of Mogadishu, employing soldiers from Burundi and Uganda to keep the radical Islamist group Al-Shabaab at bay, who have been trying to overthrow the Somali government for over 10 years now. Now, Norwegian filmmaker Torstein Grude is here this morning, and he had the idea to capture the story on the ground by giving two soldiers cameras and the instruction to capture whatever they thought was important. And the result is a documentary called Mogadishu Soldier, which is currently showing at the 2017 Encounters Documentary Festival. And it's just to kind of even think about that, Torstein, giving two soldiers cameras to go out there to film whatever they thought was important is an amazing idea. So where did this come from? Where did you find the inspiration to want to make this story happen?
I was actually making another film in Central Africa, and while making that film I realized I couldn't get the authenticity and the truthful material that I wanted. And I realized I had to work with or through locals. And then this horrific thing happened. This was during the civil war in Burundi, and I was captured by a militia.
Oh, wow.
And luckily for me, the Burundian National Army came to my rescue. And I spent some time with these soldiers in Bujumbura, the capital of Burundi. And I realized, these guys had lived all their life in war. And at the same time, they were really keen on my camera equipment. So in this bunker, I carried out this sort of mini film school. And years later, they were stationed in Mogadishu,
yes.
And they agreed to bring my camera into the battle zone.
That's incredible. And of course, when you're telling a story like this, especially in a documentary style, cinematography style, you're always charged with telling the story as honestly as possible. And now you're handing over that mandate of the honesty to two people. How did that feel? And how did you actually come to putting that together? I mean, you say you had the mini film school, but having that taken out of your hands, was that a surreal experience for you?
In a way it was, but I see this film as a portrait of war as seen through the eyes of these Burundian soldiers. And it's not a film that claims any kind of journalistic accuracy. I gave the camera to them. I asked them to film in a very observational way. So they would just run the camera for an hour straight, and whatever happened in front of the camera was captured. And these guys didn't have any concepts of filmmaking. They didn't know about aesthetics or anything.
And then what came out was about 523 tapes that you had to watch for 500 hours.
Correct. And yeah, I spent 4 years logging and translating that material.
Wow. Well, we hope that this story is one that it certainly does capture audiences, and thank you so much for telling that story. And of course, if you'd like to see it, make sure that you don't miss out on Mogadishu Soldier at the 19th edition of the Encounters Documentary Festival this Saturday, the 10th of June at the V&A Nouveau in Cape Town, preceded by a Q&A with Torstein himself. And if you'd like more information on tickets and events, you can visit www.encounters.co.za.